What's good, guys? I have my boy Chella with me, and he's gonna go through his Drytron deck. And I know this deck got hit to oblivion.
Hardest on the list, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's still playable.
Oh, definitely. I think the people that are playing the deck right now are going about it all wrong, honestly. I don't believe in the fairies anymore in the slightest. I think you're just still playing bricks. They were bricks last format. How many times do you see people just brick on fairies? Like, why are we still playing this list?
Exactly. So we'll get on to the list, and we'll talk about the theory in itself. So
All right. So generally, this format, I like playing a higher Drytron count. Seeing the Drytron names without seeing the search cards is better because it lets your search cards be variables if you just draw the hard names.
exactly.
Right now, with the way my deck is set up, it's a 2-card combo with Alpha Zeta. The target end board with just those cards ends on Fool for pop 4, a Dweller with the Search Lancia. And right now, Lancia Dweller kind of shuts down most of the meta by itself.
Exactly.
Especially with the full pop 3. Now, that's 2 cards that ends you with 6 cards in hands uninterrupted. You start off with 5, end with 6 plus the full board. The way I set it up is that there's about 9 to 10 different 2-card combos. Alpha Zeta, Nova Cyber Emergency, Alpha Ben 10, Alpha Prep, Zeta Ben 10.
Yep.
Any of those 2
Yep,
cards,
exactly.
full combo, no problem. So you play the 2 Manju as your only non-Drytron monsters.
Let's get onto the list first.
Okay.
The 3 Thubin, 3 Zeta, just like how you talked about, these are the combo pieces you want.
These are the ones you want to see. The reason why I put Delta and Gamma to 2 is because you don't
Gamma 2 and
you don't generally search those. You'll see them.
And those aren't really part of the main combo either,
No, but
right?
they're powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
Gamma is your best card to A, make Zeus, and B, play through a nib. Just like one Gamma can recover most of your full board after a nib in your turn 1.
Okay, so 2 Manju. Explain that. Are we not playing 3? Do we need more of the searching after what the hits were? Because the hits were very scary.
Oh, absolutely. The reason why I don't play 3 Manju is because everything in your deck is mostly searchable by each other. The Manju I like it too because I do want to open it, but I don't want to open multiples, and it's also searchable in the combo. If you don't open it up, yeah, you want the 2. Manju is literally Alpha and Zeta in one card. It searches everything that Alpha searches and everything that Zeta searches. So I normally like to hold my Manju, to repair the play. Like if I open up Alpha Zeta Manju, I don't open Manju. I open Alpha Zeta and I repair what they stop if they stop something.
Yep, exactly. I completely agree. The changes need to be made like that. You have to play higher counts of Zeta Alpha as well. And next off, we're going into 1 Ben 10. What do you think? What do you think about this?
After
the list, they hit Ben 10 to 1.
That was a necessary hit.
It was a necessary hit. You believe so?
Any Drytron contributing a Ben 10 makes any one hand trap besides a droll worthless.
Yep, I completely agree.
Literally worthless.
I do think it was a little too much to hit
that
Union
and Carrier.
And Carrier, but I see it a bit I get it. We're in a period where real events are not a thing, but this deck was so strong.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, it was literally
nuts.
one of the strongest decks we've ever seen in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh.
And Union Carrier is a card that does limit card design. I imagine.
Yes, exactly.
I imagine
Carrier.
Yeah,
literally made it so you can't there's cards in the future that you could just maybe equip. Yeah. Maybe you could just equip that shit.
I expected that to get hit on the next list after Mu Beta comes out because that card is insane.
Oh, and guess what? We're announced for that shit.
Diviner got announced today, but now it's randomly not on the list anymore. You saw that?
Yes.
I don't know Konami. Whatever.
Yeah. Whatever.
They don't want to see it's at full power.
They don't want to see rituals.
They don't want to see rituals.
They gave rituals a chance. But Ben 10 at 1, you have to play Ben 10 at 1. But the next card, Unicorn.
Spice. So this is the spice.
Explain.
You can achieve this card on your 3rd summon. So if you're going against your dolls, you'll probably never really get it turn 1 unless you open up either the Unicorn or the Kaleido. But it's an automatic out to Winda, an automatic out to Dragoon, and an automatic out to Zeus. It's not an activated effect, so the moment it hits the field, they're negated. And you play the 1 Kaleidoscope to send the Arclight from the extra deck, so it can search any ritual spell, so Meteonis, or any ritual monster in your deck.
Are you searching this blind?
No. Normally, if you open up, like I said, it's a 2-card combo. So any other parts of your hand that are search pieces, now you have free searches for other parts. So you start delineating into your deck, getting your turn 2 plays at turn 1 because your turn 1 hand is already set up.
Yeah.
So
Do you think this is mandatory?
No, but I would recommend it to every single person playing this list.
Yeah. Okay. So Unicorn in there, and then the Megaliths, and this is very controversial.
The Megaliths are insane.
Megaliths were questionable beforehand. I think now
they're insane.
Yeah.
The Megaliths,
Now I think you need them.
they recycle Ben 10. I resolve Ben 10 4 or 5 times in every duel.
So explain to me what Fool actually does. Megalith Fool.
Okay, on summon, Fool will target not Drytron, a ritual monster in the grave and add it back to hand and gain that level. So it adds back any of my Megaliths. It adds back Ben 10. It adds back the guy who pops, Bathor. So by adding back to Ben 10, it becomes level 6 and adds a level 6 to your hand. So now you can ritual summon literally any Megalith in your deck. You can chain block the Bathor with it, searching a Lancia, which I play at too because Lancia is great this format. A searchable Lancia is so insane.
Do you think Lancia's still worth it?
In this deck that can search it, I would never not main it. Yeah. I mained it at 1 and I wanted to see it more. 3 is too much though. So you play it at 2. Choose the right number right now.
Okay.
So then the card next to it, Megalithofield, is a non once per turn searcher. Every time you summon it, it can search a Megalith monster.
So whenever you drop it on the field,
it searches a Megalith monster. And then once per turn, you can use it and other cards in your hand or field to ritual Megalith from your hand. And opening up the Megaliths, because they all have their own ritual effects, isn't inherently neg like when you open up 3 Ben 10, because the Megaliths can summon themselves. You have to get one Megalith on the field, and they cycle through the whole deck by themselves.
Yeah. And then the next 2 Megaliths,
this guy,
Hagith and Bethor.
Okay, go back to Hagith. Hagith is super important. I don't see many people playing him.
Hagith is super important, guys.
Yeah, so the reason why I play him is the card in the bottom left next to Kaleidoscope called Megalith Unformed. What Megalith Unformed does is...
ritual spell.
It's a quick play card that ritual summons. So you can use it to tribute monsters from your hand or field, and then ritual summon a monster from your deck with half of its levels. And everything in this deck is level 4 besides the Drytrons. So you tribute any level 4 to summon a Fool from deck. So the reason why I play the Unformed, because it's searchable by Hagith in your normal combo. By doing that, it makes them so they can't drop it to your Fool, they can't Dark Ruler your Fool, because you're gonna rip the Dweller in the standby phase. Yeah. So ripping Dweller in the standby phase is no one's really playing Gamma right now. It's so plus for us. It plays around tactics. They have to drop it to your entire field, so they're gonna use 3 of their cards, and then you Unformed tribute from Manju that you search from your hand, summon Fool, add Ben 10, pop your field anyways, add Lancia. Turnover.
So going forward, do you think the Megaliths are the wave for this deck?
Right now,
for Drytron, as it is right now.
Yes. Pre-Diviner, pre-XYZ, this is the list. The fairies are not. The fairies are so good, but they lose so many interactions, and you're playing bricks. And last format, when you played Herald, you played around a 14 fairy count, and they're playing less now. And Herald was dead all the time, anyways. So why it's gonna be dead more now?
Yeah, 100%.
It's a brick every time you open it. I can
definitely get behind that. So the hand traps, or the 3 Ash. I think like Ash is like supposed to be like the most generic hand trap.
It's never going to end someone's turn anymore, but it's useful in any spot you need it to.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. The Lancia is searchable and can be a high impact hand trap
all the time. Yeah. Ends Dino turns, can severely cripple a Dragonlink turn. However, there are turns where it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
It hurts the invoke part of Shadal. Which is really good, and just that.
Invoked is so strong. People don't respect that deck, but like Invoked is so strong.
Yeah. So Lancia is just good.
And then the 2 Nibiru, I think like
it's a check card.
It's a check for like the actually the strongest decks, which I would argue is Dragonlink.
Yeah, a Dragonlink.
And Nibiru can, if you have Nibiru and a decent hand, you break the whole field and get a turn.
And Nibiru works with the Megaliths. I can tribute the Nibiru to summon Bathor instead of using my Fool.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I see you.
So in a deck like you're going against like Shadal's where you're never gonna Nibiru them, just tribute summon, pop.
Yeah. So 2 Nibiru, and then after that 2 Fafnir. Do you have any regrets about not playing 3 Fafnir? I know all the people that I've talked to about this, like they always never play 3 Fafnir. So what is the reason?
So the reason why you never play 3 Fafnir is because opening up something like Fafnir and Nova already makes it so your Fafnir is not good this turn, because now you're either going to get a second Nova, which is good next turn maybe, or the Ritual Spell, which you're going to get anyway with Zeta. Which is why I like playing the second Ritual Spell, because if I open up Fafnir Nova, I can use Fafnir for the Ritual Spell and use Zeta for Kaleidoscope.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is so nice. It's so nice. And you really want the Fafnir in this format, because not a lot of people know, but Fafnir is just Magical Meltdown for Ritual Spells. And like not a lot of people know about that. And like me activating Kaleidoscope and you not being able to negate it is just me shitting on you.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's awesome.
So 2 Fafnir, guys. That's the fucking ratio.
And then you want
after that 3 Nova.
Yeah, well that's standard. You never
that's standard. That's always been standard. Yeah, it literally is Itelli. And then one Medionis Drytron, the ritual spell.
It's recurable. You get it back with prep. It comes
Would you
back
ever
by
play
itself.
multiples or no?
Nah, never.
Hey, it's just a break, right?
You don't want to open it in general.
Okay, so one Medionis Drytron, you heard it, and then 3 Siren Emergency, the card that searches everything.
Yeah, you want to max out on Drytron names. Besides the Fafnir, that's the one allocation.
Specifically now, like now after the hits, like you don't have Drytron names
because any one Drytron can be a full line of play for you, but that one line of play will lose to a nib. The second name or like a third name, like if you open up Alpha Zeta and you get access to a Nova or another emergency or anything that gets a Drytron out, you draw with Delta, like that's your automatic recovery through nib. Every Drytron is so important to your opening combo.
Yep, I completely agree. I would argue about the next card, but it's up to you.
I have my theory on this. So
yep, Pot of Avarice. So I hate this card.
I know a lot of
people. And I think a lot of people hate this card. Explain this to me.
Okay, so originally I was maining Tactics, and I will never.
So then instead of 2 Pot of Avarice, you're maining 2 Tactics.
3 Tactics.
3 Tactics.
So
okay.
Tactics is always a better card. Turn 1 going first or second. No 100%. No argument there. I'm not dumb. Avarice is good in this deck for multiple reasons. One, if you get nibbed on your first turn, drawing 2 in this deck is insane because you're playing, a million extenders. And
you got the cards in your graveyard.
And I have all the cards in my graveyard. Yeah. Now, what makes this deck so gas is that all the Drytrons grab something. The best one is always Alpha because it gets you into your whole ritual engine. Imagine this. Imagine we're in the middle of a grind, right? And I put back all of my Megaliths into my deck and draw 2 cards. And now
what are you drawing though? Like
anything, like another Cyber Emergency, another Nova to get me Gamma, to get me Delta, like to get me hand traps, and then because all my Drytrons are already in the grave after turn 1, which means it doesn't matter what I draw. Just the fact that I'm putting the cards back in my deck to give me my whole combo again. I could put back my Downward for another Zeus. I could put back my Unicorn and my Arclight, and then prep back my Kaleidoscope full combo. Prep search Unicorn, add back Kaleidoscope full combo. I'm gonna summon my Unicorn twice now.
That is insane.
It's not once per turn, so if you draw it off of itself or if you draw it off of Delta, you just do it again.
Exactly.
You do it again. I've been testing it for about a week. I have in every game I've resolved, I think I've won like 8 out of 9 games I've resolved it.
Guys, you guys heard it right here. Pot of Avarice is a staple now.
Yeah, like I understand people's like apprehension against the card, but in this deck specifically,
you know me,
insane.
like I'm gonna hate on this card a little bit, but like I'm happy to hear the explanations. I'm sure people are happy to hear it. After this, the 3 prep, like standard, bro. At this point, it has to be standard.
It's super standard.
Yeah, and then.
The spice.
The final 2 these are 2 ritual spells, right?
One's a ritual spell, one's a quick play spell. That ritual summons. This one has a battle phase
Okay,
effect.
so we'll go over the first one. Megalith
Unformed. So it has
explain to me why you're playing this.
So all the Megaliths have low attack. Besides like the boss monsters, which you don't really play, like the Aratron and the other one, you don't play those because you have other means of killing. Yeah. So you'll very nichely use the lose 500. What you mostly use it for is to recover through Nib, Droplet, and Dark Ruler. By getting another Fool live on your opponent's turn after they resolve those power spell cards. On top of that, being a spell card, if you have something that you have to chain to the activation of, or you can use it to tribute monsters on your field to dodge the effects of cards, which is so insane. It's just like a really versatile quick play spell card that's searchable, and you're always going to summon Haggith on your first turn in the way that I do the combo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
do you think this is mandatory?
No, but I would also recommend it to every person playing this deck.
Okay, so how about the next card?
Also,
is Kaleidoscope mandatory?
If you're playing Unicorn, yes. Because
yeah, of course. So do you think that because I see it, like that's the spice in your deck list.
Mm-hmm. The 3 spicy cards. I would recommend them to every single person playing this deck. Hands down.
The ritual deck, yeah. Mm-hmm. Unicorn is crazy.
It's insane.
I don't know if people actually have ever read this card. Like it negates everything.
Yeah, and then it's not activated, so you just drop it into window. Okay, I can summon now.
Exactly.
They can't schism because it's a water. They can't schism it because it's a water.
People don't realize how strong the window decks are gonna be going forward.
Oh, they're insane. They're scared. That's the only thing I'm actually scared of.
They are so scary, and like people just don't care. Mm-hmm. I genuinely think like this list is solid. Like Unicorn, Kaleidoscope is super solid. I like this list. I definitely think everybody should check it out. From here on out, like, what about the side? Did you put much thought into the side?
Yeah, the third Lancia, third Nib, because against the decks you want to see him, that's unarguable. And then the rest of it is the power cards, the tactics, the droplets, and the dark rulers, because you can use those against any...
What do you think about those cards? Dark ruler droplets instead of overhand traps.
So the reason why I like tactics in this deck is because there's so many interactions, and playing into a board, like, your hand is actually really versatile. If you draw 6 activatable effects in this deck, there's almost no board that you can't break besides the Wind of Dragoon block.
I've seen it. I've literally seen it.
You've seen me break Dragon Link boards with it. And the tactics just helps because that's just versatile. The droplets help. And I don't think you need to play a high hand trap count this format, but the hand traps that you do play should be high impact.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
If you play
high impact
you don't need to stop their board because there's no VFD anymore. You want to soften their board so you can just smash it with your own cards.
Exactly. And I feel like a lot of people have to get behind that. Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. So the extra deck, anything specific? You have Link Rebo.
Yes, I do play
the Nightmares.
The Nightmares are really good. Because going second, if you resolve the Nib, only having to use one Drytron name or the Manju to get into your utility cards like Unicorn and Cerberus are super free. If you don't have to commit Drytrons before opening up one of those plays, it forces them to act every time. Because, you're popping, whatever.
They might have back row that you can't answer. Yeah, exactly.
The Unicorn is...
And I feel like a lot of the monsters in this deck, when you're summoning them, like, it's just, like, so free. Like,
yes.
Why not put it towards something that, like, actually does something?
Exactly. And there's no more Union Care, so you don't need 2 bodies for Union Care anymore. Because you're not basing the deck around it. The Unicorn, you're playing IP, you play Unicorn. Plus, Unicorn's good anyways. You know what I'm saying? You play Unicorn.
Yep.
The next card, BLS, it's good because you can make it with Nib, you can make it with the big guy, and you can make it with Fool, because if Fool adds back the Bathor, it becomes the late. And then you just, you just make
it. Yep. Specifically when your extra deck is so free, like, look at all these cards. These are all utility cards. Like
the entire extra. There's no single required card here.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Everybody can change it around.
Exactly.
But, like, you pick the cards that are, like, high utility and high
fit
impact.
your play style. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, Appaloosa.
You don't normally Appaloosa on your first turn. You eat the Nib because of Unformed. You can play through the Nib. If they don't stop your board in the first turn, you establish Appaloosa on the second turn with all the leftover cards, and then just activate all of your Drytrons out of the grave again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know how many times in turn 2 I've made Appaloosa and then Borosword gamed?
I know. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Trust me. I've seen it. Other people should understand this. Borosword, this is literally the OTK factor.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, if you're gonna drop so many monsters, you want something to
that can just
go
kill.
Into that just kills. That's what Borosword is. Fucho.
Still great. No one really plays Droll like that anymore right now. I see it coming back. There's a lot of talks about it. So I used to keep this card in as like the I won't lose this turn. But I still play the second Zeus, so you still want the second rank 1. You don't want to rely on having to Avarice your second Zeus playback.
Yeah, exactly.
And Avarice should give you your third Zeus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Fucho's still great. Worst case, rank 1, you don't lose the turn. I wouldn't cut it. It's still good.
And the next card, the bird itself, Lyricist.
Makes Zeus 9 times out of 10.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These are cards that like just helps make Zeus, and you should always think about that because guess what? Zeus is crazy.
Zeus is insane.
And then
Downer,
Dweller. These are
Downer
Downer specifically is just to help get like that extra material for the Zeus.
Mm-hmm. And because of Avarice, you get 2 format Zeuses.
If they don't have back row, if you're ready to like drop something that like you're like, I'm trying to end the game, I'm gonna drop a 2 material Zeus.
Yep, and if you're smart and you can keep track of like knowledge of your opponent's cards, hands, field, graveyard, like you can make the Downer comfortably if you're
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dweller, just a classic rank 4, man.
I try to open this card every single opening.
If you can make you
can make a Dweller, you make a Dweller.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you make rank 4s, you make Dweller. And then the double Zeus, the best XYZ,
Send.
I guess.
Send.
Yeah, it's just send. Yeah, send.
You're doing something? Send.
Yeah, yep. So 2 of that. And then the Herald of Arclight. Why are you playing Herald of Arclight?
Because it makes Unicorn Extender.
Because of the Kaleidoscope. Because Kaleidoscope sends 1. Yep, and like you're trying to set that up.
Yep. Imagine summoning Unicorn and then searching the other ritual spell with Arclight.
Exactly.
It's so fresh.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy you're here showing off this Drytron list. Like, I hope everybody else enjoyed it. Guys, let me know what you guys think. This is my boy Chella, and like he's really into this deck, and like I hope you guys can learn something from this.
I do want to give a shout out to my boy Mel. He helped me really through with this list. After the list dropped, I actually almost just bought Dragons But
And
then
a lot of people did,
Yeah,
bro. A lot
and
of people
then,
wanted to give up on this list, but I promise you, this deck is gonna be good. If not, it's still good. And let these cards drop. You've seen it. The fucking XYZ.
oh, it's over. The Diviner, it's over. It's over. The deck,
XYZ and Diviner. OCG has been popping off with this deck, and it's because those cards exist in their format, and nobody wants to talk about that here.
it's only up from here.
Yeah, it's only up from here.
here.
I definitely recommend like trying this deck out. It's only gonna get better from here, and like rituals are here to stay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Drytrons, we're around forever.
Peace, guys. And
Peace.